Alright, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Lucy the Rooster back again with another video, and today we are doing a film review on a film that I actually watched in class. It was a really good film. It is called In the Heat of the Night, directed by Norman Jewison, starring Sidney Poitier, Rob Steiger, and Warren Oates. This was also released in 1967 during the Great Blaxploitation movement of film. And it's basically about a black detective from Philadelphia who's trying to catch a train to Memphis to meet his family, who's supposed to be the best in the game, helping this small town in Mississippi figure out a murder that happened because none of them have the knowledge that he has. Disclaimer, spoiler alert ahead, and also you should know that none of these opinions are set in stone. None of these claims that I make are set in stone. These are my opinions and how I viewed it. So take that for what you will. It's my opinion. That's how I saw it. Okay, so for my scene analysis, it's more of a couple of scenes. I chose to do every scene that basically Ralph is in because Ralph is obviously the person who killed the guy. I forgot who he was. He killed him that they're investigating, and they basically want to see how you can see throughout the entire film that how he interacts with Sam is very demeaning tone. We can watch it right here in this first clip right here.
What's that little orphan sitting right up there?
Marble cake. Tell you what, Sam. Be interested in it by a little old lonesome. I'll let you have it for free.
I told you about that.
See, here Sam says, "I told you about that Sam business, didn't I?" And then Ralph replies,
Sorry, Mr. Wood. Officer Wood.
in a kind of sarcastic tone. And look at his eyebrows right when he does this right here. So
Sorry, Mr. Wood. Officer Wood.
he like opens his eyes a lot and makes it go up and down, meaning that he doesn't really care about Officer Wood. So we know that through this there could be some internal beef between these two, or he can have something against him. Later we obviously find out what that is, but he can have something against him personally right now. So then Sam gives up because he has to leave and do his route, but he also just seems looking straight at his eyes where Ralph is doing the exact same thing. Alright, right here we see as Sam left that Ralph actually has the pie because he doesn't want to give it to him for some reason, but it's just later we also see in the later scene where he comes in that he also just didn't want to give Sam the pie. He hid it, but right here we see that he has the pie for himself, and so this entire sequence starts off by Virgil asking Sam to take him through his route once again. Or of that night that he found the body.
Thought you left town.
Jeff.
Could you follow the same route you followed Tuesday night? Same speed?
Why?
Why not?
Maybe I better check with the chief.
Maybe you'd better. I wouldn't want him to slap you down for stepping out of line.
Let's get.
Here we just see Ralph fixing the jukebox so he can play some music.
All you little birds better lock up tight, 'cause there's a foul owl on the prowl tonight. Hey, little lark, get out of the dark. Foul owl on the prowl. Cute little jay stay.
Now, I think from listening to the lyrics, this is a racist song because they're in the South, and foul owl on the prowl, get out of the dark. It just seems like it is. So I think they put that in here to show that he does not respect Virgil Tibbs for who he is, for being the detective. Also because he knows that Virgil Tibbs is onto him. And the fact that Virgil is onto him scares him a little bit. And we'll see that later in the scene with the way he acts and stuff.
Out of his way.
So you can see that he's very vibey. He's dancing.
All out on the prowl. You
He's
just
having a good
love
time.
the quail hill.
Now he sees Sam roll up with Virgil.
You just
And I don't think he realizes that Virgil is in there at first. But we can continue watching this. And then he hops over the bar and hides the pie.
If you catch his eye, fly. Don't wait to say goodbye.
Now Ralph there is still doing his stuff to hide the stuff from Sam because he doesn't want Sam to have any of that pie because he doesn't like Sam, that we know from the last scene, because he had Dolores frame Sam. But
Take
So-
10 minutes to get myself a king-size Coke and a wedge of pie. That is a bit peck of...
let me skip this part a little bit.
Get about those 4 maniacs this afternoon.
You can see Ralph staring here in the back, so I think that's important that he's staring here because I think this is the first time he sees Virgil, and he knows Virgil is really smart due to the fact that he's probably gotten word from everybody else in town that this guy is really smart and is on to other people, or he's just making a commotion. But yeah, he's in here, and then let's continue watching to see what happens.
I need more time.
We can skip this part. So here he's still listening to the song and he's watching him over the shoulder, and right now he's just, I think the camera is placed here to see to where this is like him obviously witnessing this, and he's just like thinking to himself, he's like, oh crap, what do I gotta do now? I gotta improvise somehow where I'm not in a predicament.
Virgil, if you get killed, we're gonna have one hell of a mess in this town. You know that?
Alright, we can just skip past this part a little bit.
Got some real luscious cream pie for you tonight, Sam. I mean, Officer Wood. It's like
Here we go again with Ralph disrespecting Sam. Like he said again, he's like, I mean, Officer Wood, like you always order. He says Sam at first. So he's insinuating that he still has no respect for Sam because he knows that Sam's also doing the dirty with Dolores like he is, but didn't get her pregnant because he got her pregnant. And they're planning to blame her.
you always
Him,
order.
I should say. My bad.
You know I don't eat that stuff. Chief here likes his boys streamlined, ain't that right, Chief?
Why don't you shut up, Sam?
All right, what do you have, Virgil? I ain't serving him.
Now here you can see him go swap real fast. Obviously this
All
is
right, what do you
also
have,
like
Virgil?
this is also during like the time of segregation, but you need to swap real fast. You can see he's probably sweating from the stuff, but he's probably even more sweaty due to the fact that he's really nervous now that Virgil is onto him, and he says it real fast. As soon as like he's barely able to finish saying Virgil, he says, "I ain't serving him." And then Virgil looks at him, and then Ralph immediately goes down, signaling that he doesn't want to have eye contact with him because he fears of Virgil figuring him out. But I mean, Virgil figures him out because of this. He doesn't want to have eye contact. He just straight down, away from him. Never looks him directly in the eye, showing no respect to Virgil. Even though Virgil, usually in historic times, it was the other way around, where the whites were asking, like the African American were just looking straight at the ground, not letting the not looking at the whites because it was a sign of disrespect to them. Now, the roles kind of reversed, where Virgil is the person in power. Ralph has no power right here, right now, and I think Virgil knows this because he's continuing not giving him eye contact this entire time. So Virgil's just standing here. Ralph is staring off to the side, at Sam and the chief.
Tuesday night, you walked out of here at 2:40, right?
Now here you see Ralph looking at him, but he's definitely not making direct eye contact. He's only looking at him due to the fact that his eyes are closed and he's not actually Virgil's not actually paying attention towards Ralph himself. So I think it's because more the fact that if they have direct eye contact, it's like the saying where like you can see someone's emotion through their eyes. You could read someone through their eyes. You could tell through his eyes because Virgil's, like we said earlier, very smart individual. He can tell that Ralph has something going on behind him through his eyes.
Round button. 2 minutes from now.
There he goes again in that little part. Ralph looking away from Virgil as he looks up towards him. He just goes straight down. Once again, looking to his back, not at his direct eyes. He's looking at him, but not directly into his eyes because he wants to avoid that eye contact. And then there we go again. Let's replay that part. Virgil looks right at Ralph, and Ralph strictly just goes straight down. He looks straight down. Let me see. Ralph looks down and he knows. He's like, you can see in his face too. His facial expression, he's like, something's going on here. They're on to something. You can barely see his pupils. It's hard to see, but you can barely see his pupils going back and forth. Due to the way his eyebrows move and stuff. While Virgil is looking at him. So he's like doing that thing where he's initiating eye contact, then taking away really fast. Like people do if they're socially awkward. I do it a lot because I don't like staring at people in the eye. It creeps me out. Personally, but that's why I learned to stare at people's mouths. Fun fact. But yeah, that's what he's doing. And you can see the same stare down that I had at the beginning. The same one foreshadowing there's something going on between these two. Or someone has beef with another person. Sam has beef because he doesn't respect him, and then Ralph has beef because he's sleeping with the same person.
You read me? 10. That you can move.
So after they leave, we pan her around to Ralph, and I think this is important because he knows that they're getting close to the solution, and he has to do something about it, and that's when he goes out, gets a gun, or probably gets his gun, and then calls up Dolores, and then tells her about it, and then blame it on Sam, blame the pregnancy on Sam, so he gets thrown in jail, and then at the end when he's going to the abortion, accompany Dolores because obviously it's the right thing to do, and then if Tibbs shows up, shoot him. So my overall opinion on this film is it was actually really good. I enjoyed it a lot. It was interesting. It kept me engaged the entire time. Kept me trying to figure out, as long as while the protagonists were figuring out, the main characters were figuring out the stuff. It was having me figure it out, especially with how it turned out. I did not expect it to be Ralph at the end, but hey. It was a good film. I enjoyed it thoroughly watching it. I was attentive the entire time too, so it was really nice.